2018 Ferrari 812 Superfast car review. The good points of 2018 Ferrari 812 Superfast. An 8,900 revolutions per minute V12 in the chassis that somehow competes from it for top billing. The bad points of 2018 Ferrari 812 Superfast. Somewhere on the globe, a male stubbed his toe this morning. The 8 within this car's name denotes the 800 horsepower the engine generates within the metric scale. As measured about this side with the Atlantic, though, it's merely 789, a supplementary 59 within the F12 Berline this model replaces. The 12 is about the badge since there are a dozen cylinders below the hood, and Superfast is both a title from Ferrari's background, a promise delivered. Compared with all the F12's engine, the 812's is 75% new, displacing 6.5 liters versus the F12's 6.3. The V12 makes it 789 horsepower at 8,500 revolutions per minute, returning to an 8,900 revolutions per minute maximum. Peak torque, 530 lb-ft, crests at 7,000. Below 5,000 revolutions per minute, the 812 is really a pussycat, but because the revs rise, power generally seems to build exponentially. There is about 600 horsepower at 6,000 revolutions per minute, 700 at 7,000, and because tech ends up, the compounding sensation of acceleration is stupefying. The engine revs thus far past the initiation of insanity that every redline upshift is virtually a relief. Expect the 0 to 60 mph sprint being over in just 2.8 seconds, as well as the quarter mile to feed in 10.8 ticks or possibly even longer. And then there's the sound. It's your personal Formula One fantasy, heaven's own chainsaw. Agile? Must be Italian. The handling, too, is a thing out of your fantasy. Ferrari's original electrically assisted power steering system directs the 812, and it's an excellent effort. As we trundled throughout the streets of Maranello just outside of the factory gates, it felt what about a touch overboosted. But once this town gave way to hills and fields, we seem that the steering matches the feeling on the entire car. Agility we expected, however the whole car feels unbelievably light, such as world's most furious Mazda Miata. Here is often a roughly 3,900-pound car that has a giant 6.5-liter engine to use nose, yet it's unbelievably dexterous, as being a V12 wingsuit. The steering is immediate and energy builds faithfully, but there's hardly any feedback in the road surface. Given how great the steering is other respects, though, we'd have just a couple of years before Ferrari perfects it, making having access to the best steering around the planet another reason why to resent the 1%. The 812 carries within the space frame in the F12, meaning nearly the full car is made aluminum. Carbon fiber is utilized almost purely as being a stylistic flourish, normally an optional one. The F12 TDF donates its rear wheel steering system. As he took us while on an orientation lap, a single one exclamation mark of Ferrari's test track at Frano, development driver Raffaele De Simone guaranteed we knew tips on how to turn off stability control and said, "It's okay should you spin the auto off the track." No, it isn't, Raffaele. And yet, most of his advice proved well-founded. You expect an 800 horsepower, $300,000 mega car to get intimidating, but so controllable and predictable could be the 812 that people were immediately comfortable. By the end in our second lap, stability control was switched off, the 812 was sideways, and now we were giggling such as a teenager doing our first burnout again. It feels almost like the driver can transfer individual pounds of load to every wheel to balance the vehicle through turns, plus the smooth power delivery implies that you can meter precisely numerous ponies that you need to maintain any intended line or slip angle. The F12 was one of several quickest cars we've ever tested at Lightning Lap, therefore we suspect the 812 requires a bite off its predecessor's 2:50.8 time around Virginia International Raceway's Grand Course. And sensible, too. The spacious interior and comfy driving position do much for the auto's approachability, so does the excellent visibility for the front and sides. The high tail means the vista rearward might be more like that of a mid-engined car. But even 99th percentile drivers might get comfortable in the Motive Force's seat. While the ride is really a little choppy, the suspension rounds the cruel edges off any bumps. This would create a perfectly acceptable daily driver. In subdued colors, the 812 could almost come near to blending with traffic. Whether other commuters envy you will end up a matter of taste. But there's a large quantity of function inside Superfast's extreme styling. Each last intake and vent punched into your bodywork is functional. With about several different passageways over the bodywork, air doesn't just flow about the 812, it passes through it similar to its slips by way of a skydiver's fingers. And just like a skydiver falling from a plane, the Superfast driver should never be bored. He'll in addition have something significantly better to listen to.